Tina, what I'll say is probably calling these questions tough is a wrong way of talking about them.
Yes, it
I
is.
think we should say reflective questions.
Reflective question, or questions that introduce or induces or instills that sort of reflection in the
Right,
client.
because what we are talking of, that the person needs to reflect
Mm,
on why he or she thinks and behaves the way he or she does,
mm,
and find the gap how or what reaction would have been appropriate or should have been in that
or should have.
situation.
Mm, mm.
Now, let me share a very interesting case with you. There was an
Yeah.
organization, and a very progressive organization, what I thought to start with.
Mm,
And they gave me a group of 10, 12 managers to be coached.
mm.
I was in constant touch with the managing director. He was very happy. Things were improving. Bottom line was improving. Everything was improving. And then all of a sudden, he says, "We are short on funds." Okay. And then I got to know that since these people, the managers, they were coming into their own selves because of the coaching, the managing director started feeling insecure. So it was not the
Ah, of
HR department
course.
who stopped it. Since the managers, started becoming better versions of themselves, they started speaking up, they started voicing their thoughts, they started taking actions, decisions, pointing out
Uh-huh.
mistakes. Now, this managing director had not envisaged this thing or this kind of a transformation. And this
Yep.
kind of a transformation made him insecure.
Mm.
As a result, he lost interest in coaching, getting them coached any further.
I think that's a reason why, some companies don't buy coaching. They buy coach, and this, when you say this one, I mean, it's so good because, yeah, they buy coaching and they talk with me, and I say, okay, to change the client so it will be easier for the manager to work with them. And I sometimes ask, have you thought that it can be the opposite? Oh, what do you mean it can be the opposite? It can be the opposite, that they can be harder for you to manage because they realize that I actually can ask questions, I can do things, I can, etc. So this is why it's so important that when companies go in coaching, that the whole organization is prepared for what can happen when you start to coach an organization. It's powerful. It's very powerful. And this reminds me about case a long time ago. And they talked a lot about, this is many years ago, but they talked a lot about psychological safety.
Mhm.
And that's another buzzword. Oh, we want psychological safety in our company or organization, or we want, yeah. And I say, what is psychological safety for you? They need to define it. Most of them don't really know what it is. And if they know, it's very hard to live it. Yeah, because it's all about trust in psychological safety. But psychological safety, and I coach clients, and I realized very quickly that this was a company with no whatsoever psychological safety. It was a corporate structure. It was all about KPIs. So basically, people that knew how to play the game, they could play it, and that was their psychological safety. The KPI was their psychological safety tool. If I deliver that, I'm fine. So then everyone that we need more empathy, we need more EQ. Yeah, but I said that's not your organization. Then you have to change the whole why your organization works. You have managers working for KPIs. They are micromanaging their role as much as they can in their silo function. You can't ask them to do something that automatically will lead to not following the KPIs and maybe the salary. It's not realistic. But that was
Mhm.
sort of no, 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 we need psychological safety. And that was absolutely, you know, and that is a moment when I realized there's no sort of, and I talk with people that try to sell coaching in this context. It's very difficult because in the end, when you start to dig deeper, the transformation can go in a direction which they maybe don't want because they want another fix of the company. That's my experience, actually, a little bit.
Yeah, you've got this thing up. It's a beautiful psychological safety, and I'm calling it
Yeah.
beautiful because this is a very, very important requirement of the day at the same time. A
Mm.
grossly misunderstood requirement.
Yeah, it is.
You see, because of this KPI culture,
Mm.
psychological safety for people has become I do not lose my job
Exactly.
because
Keep my job.
I got a family to feed, I got
Yep.
EMIs to pay, so
Yep.
they will do anything and everything to retain their job,
Yep.
which results in a burnout, which results in low productivity, absenteeism,
Mm. Mm. Right.
dropping sales,
Dropping sales. Yes.
dropping net profits. Organizations need to understand that psychological safety means that the person getting up on a Monday morning wants to rush to office because
Yeah.
he or she enjoys being in office,
Loves to be there. They can be
loves to be
themselves.
there, loves to contribute.
Mm.
So it's a cultural thing.
Mm.
So when any organization comes to me saying psychological safety, I usually tell them, that is fine, I will work, but at the same time, you've got to also work on your culture
You have
because
to work on your culture. Mm.
the culture drives psychological safety. It's not the other way around.
Mm. And this is interesting because many companies that talk about psychological safety, they are fairly sort of in the micromanagement situation. And you can never have psychological safety in an organization that is micromanaged. That's the wrong
And
culture for psychological safety.
you, you can never have psychological safety in an organization, which have leaders not open to change, which has managers who are stuck,
Mm.
who don't want a change.
Exactly. And maybe hide behind policy and regulations.
Yes, that really
That can
happens.
never be psychological safety. No.
Because you see, then policy, if you hide behind policies and regulations and protocols and the SOPs, it is easier to find a scapegoat.
Mm.
You see, it's easier to find a scapegoat. Again, it boils down to I am right, the mistake was yours.
Mm. Right.
So that vitiates the entire thing.
Mm.
Now, psychological safety means for me, and I tell my clients also, that if a person commits a mistake, he or she should be in a position to come and say, Sir, ma'am, I did commit this mistake. I'm sorry. And this is
Mm.
the reason it happened. I assure you it will not happen again.
Mm.
The person should have the courage to come and confess
Yeah.
and dive deep into himself or herself.
Mm.
And again, Tina, it comes from your line of expertise, adaptability.
Adaptability is it, yes. And
Because
adaptability, it's very clear that the adaptability and when I show that and I talk about it now, it's very popular. And this is because of it's easy to sell. That is that they say we're gonna have an organization with more resilience. Okay. They
Mhm,
pull out resilience as one factor. And I say, yeah, but resilience is part of adaptability. It's part of the
mhm,
bigger context. So you can't only work on resilience. Again, they go down to the little individual person that has no impact in the organization. Then, of course, you can build, you say, we want an organization with resilience. By connecting it to adaptability, resilience is one parameter among many others, where you need a team support to build resilience. You need have a company support. Yeah, you need to have a good mental health status of the people working in your organizations. You need to have some sort of play to win. Yeah, not play to protect, but play to win among the people. And you must have in an organization allowness for unlearning, failing and getting back on track and unlearn so we can redo things, not sitting grumbling around about why didn't it work and why. No, just, hey, we learned it didn't work, let's move on. And for that, you need people that can challenge each other. And now we come an organization where you have people that can ask tough questions, that see beyond policy and regulations. They ask tough questions. So they challenge each other in the team. And that is what we call you need to have some sort of mental flexibility in the organization. And these organizations that can induce that, they will be extremely innovative and people would love to work with them because they know people working with such organization, they never take a risk. They
Mhm.
know if it doesn't work out, I can stay, I can go. If I work here, develop, I will be accountable and we will be an accountable team that are together accountable for the success, like a football team. And those organizations, that will be winning organizations in the future. That's my absolute belief. And the interesting part here now is that you will have in a team, each team member might have 20 agents. So it's going to be a huge team with all these agents as well. Exciting world, isn't it?
Uh, well, what I understood from you is that adaptability is non negotiable.
No,
Spe-
it's not.
spe- And if you really ask me, adaptability has always been non negotiable for the simple reason had human nature not been adaptable, we would not have grown from what we were thousands of years ago to what we are today. Because every
True.
forward movement requires adaptability.
Mm,
But unfortunately, this simple rule of natural law, I'll put it simple rule of natural law,
natural law. Yeah.
the law of the nature, the
Mm,
human tendencies,
mm,
has been pushed aside because of greed for profits and as if money is the ultimate god.
mm,
Because with money comes a lot of power.
mm,
With money comes a lot of ability to manipulate the other.
mm,
With money comes a lot of status in today's times.
mm. It's true.
So again, now this is a matter of culture. You
It's
see,
a matter of culture, yes. And also to add, and if we look back in history, adaptability, sometimes adaptability is forced by disruption. So looking back in human history, civilizations have come and go, usually in connection to some sort of disaster. It could be a volcano or could be the climate change. We know that if we go back to the oceans in the Roman Empire and earlier on, that civilization, huge civilization existed. And then there was a disruption. And I believe that we are in such a disruption right now, huge disruption, labor force disruption.
uh, Tina, I'll put it in a very simple way.
Mm,
Every forward movement
mm,
stands on disruption.
mm,
Even when a child is promoted from class 1 to class 2, there's a small amount of disruption in his or her habit. Growth and disruption, they go hand in hand.
mm,
You want to redo your house, what happens? Disruption is there. Without disruption, the forward movement would not be there.
mm,
But what we have been talking about, the tendency, my job stays. You see,
Yeah. Yeah. I keep my job. If I just
I
keep
keep
it
my
for another
job.
10 years, for another
Yes.
10 years. Yeah.
You see, they say, okay, no innovation, nothing, be secure, be in the comfort zone. And the truth is, with disruption comes a question mark because you do not know about the future. And to move into the future, you got to take a risk. So
You have to take a risk. That's true. Yeah.
now as coaches, it becomes very important for us to help people understand this basic human nature and prepare them to take risk in case they want to grow in their career. And this is what you have been
Absolutely.
talking about.
Yes, it is. And that's why we need to create self awareness so they
Yes.
get a reality check and can evaluate their options and then say, okay, I take the risk to go B. Then we have a movement. Yeah.
So, Tina, we have been together for 45 minutes roughly. Yes, 43 minutes.
Yes.
So, do we agree that coaching without tough questions is meaningless?
Absolutely meaningless. It's not worth paying for.
It's not worth paying for.
Nope.
And guys, if you want real transformation, you can contact Tina, you can contact me. But let me warn you, we'll be asking tough questions
We will be asking tough questions.
because we want you to transform.
Yes.
We would not impose anything on you. Simple, tough questions so that you reflect and decide on your own.
So
Yes.
you grow. So you grow. And maybe if you use me as a career coach, you don't need me any longer. Then I have succeeded. And then I say, you're welcome back for the next transformation.
And I love the last statement because this is exactly what even I do. I don't want to be your, what word should I use? Well, you got to be independent. You've got to be
Independent. Yeah.
independent. You got to take your own decisions. You've got to
Yeah.
live your own life. Tomorrow
Yeah.
I'm there or not, I don't know. And if I'm
Mm.
not there and you are too reliant on me, then what happens? You've got to become independent, confident,
Mm.
and just move ahead. Like Tina said,
And just,
if you guys don't require us, that will be our victory. Right, Tina?
that's our victory.
Yes.
Completely agree. We are completely aligned, Sandeep.
So, folks, next Saturday, same time, and it'll be Tina's turn to lead the conversation. We would love to hear from you. That and give your comments, send your questions. We are always there for you. And where can you find Tina? Tina, why don't you tell the people where can they find you?
Where they can find me is my company page, passagetopro.com. You find me on LinkedIn as Tina Person, and you find me on Facebook and my YouTube channel, Passage to Pro. And never ever hesitate to contact me. Love to hear from you.
And guys, you can find me on Sandeep Amar Gupta. I spell Gupta with a double P.com. That is my page, plus my LinkedIn page, plus the YouTube channel, Sandeep Gupta Live. So thank you. We meet again after a week, same time, the same time, same energy. So thank you very much.